Jedi stood in front of a makeshift stage, trying to think about how ridiculous he looked. Human clothing had never suited him, and every time he wore some, his skin crawled and itched madly. But at least the glasses contained a small device that helped relieve the pain in his new eye. Struggling to suppress his distaste, he switched the microphone on. He was standing in front of a makeshift stage, dressed in a suit. Behind him on stage was his companion, flawlessly disguised as Saffron. It was time to launch Queen Barrow's latest operation. Jedi introduced his companion to the large crowd in front of him. His companion, in turn, announced a star search contest to be hosted shortly. He noticed with irritation that her voice was an octave too high, and thought about yelling at her for it later. As it was, he flipped a hidden switch and waited. Hidden generators began projecting a psychic suggestibility field. As Jedi watched, the higher cognitive functions of the humans were redirected, making them more suitable to be harvested. Jedi permitted himself a small smile of satisfaction. Word of the contest spread faster than wildfire. People affected by the generators began to search for partners. At Serena's school, rumor had it that Molly had teamed up with Melvin after dumping Serena. Regardless, the competition began to get ugly. At last, it was time for the contest. Serena ran down the sidewalk with Luna pursuing her. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" she asked. "Sure it is. His new routine's guaranteed to win." "I'm not sure what you want me to do. Just sit there and look cute. Let me do the rest." "Then why am I even going? The contest says we have to have partners. But the rules don't say they have to be going somewhere, meatball head." Serena stopped dead in her tracks. Before she could even turn around, she knew who it was. Darian Shields. The tall, dark-haired resident of the city was annoying as he was handsome. Serena knew little about him, but seemed to run into him too often for it to be a coincidence. What she did know is that the way of irritating her to the point of screaming with only a few words. And those words often include the nickname Meatball Head. Serena hated him. "None of your business, you overgrown creep," she snapped. "Shouldn't you be over at the talent show?" Darian cried coolly. "I bet they could have an act that includes tripping over things." "Get lost!" Serena dug into her pockets and threw a crumpled piece of paper at him. It bounced harmlessly off his chest. She turned and stormed away. Darian watched her go, mildly amused. "Well, I'm proud of you for handling that calmly and maturely," Luna commented when they were out of earshot. "I could just punch him in his stupid mouth," Serena fumed. "Be that as it may, aren't you late for something?" "Oh, right." Serena fished into her pocket, pulling out a crumpled piece of paper. She read the address out loud. "Didn't that place close a few months ago?" Luna asked suspiciously. "Yeah, it did. I think you better call Jason. This could be a nega rush trap." Serena pulled out her phone. Finding Jason's number, she called it and told him everything. There was a sound of paper rustling on the other end. It sounded like Jason was smoothing out a map. After a minute, he curtly said, "Understood," then hung up without saying goodbye. The once-abandoned building's theater stank of sweat, adrenaline, and anxiety. The crowd of brainwashed innocents, lured by promises of material wealth, shifted restlessly backstage. Among the faces of the multitude were Molly and Melvin, but no one noticed them as the monster disguised as Saffron entered, its mission nearing completion. "This is it, everyone," the monster announced, its voice now the correct pitch. "This is your big night." Surreptitiously, it modified the building's suggestible field, causing the afflicted humans to imagine they were hearing applause. The humans began to react, their minds overrun with desire. "Now go out there and give it your all." The curtain rose. As excited humans watched, the field interacted with their occipital lobes, giving them the illusion of an audience. Encouraged, the humans began acting out all their acts at once. The monster switched on the building's energy collection device and watched in amusement. Serena crept through the halls of the building, every sense straining for the slightest hint of danger. Beside her, Luna paddled silently, wondering when backup would arrive. Jason was skilled in navigating territory, but she worried how soon he would be able to find the building in such a large city. Up ahead, noise from the building's theater caught Serena's attention. Carefully, she crept forward and peered in the door. The sight almost made her heart stop. The monster impersonating Saffron had taken off its disguise and stood in the center aisle, openly laughing at the spectacle on the stage. Every human that had managed to force his or her way inside the building was performing an act, most of them poorly. They looked more like the resident of a mental institution than they did normal people. In the back of Serena's mind, she noticed Molly and Melvin's interests in the midst of the thrall, but couldn't take her eyes off the monster. "Serena!" Luna scolded over the noise. Serena managed to tear herself away from the door. She ran down the hallway, forcing Luna to chase her. "I can't do this," she cried, catching her breath around the corner. She seemed on the verge of tears. "Get a hold of yourself, Serena," Luna snapped. "You are Sailor Moon, sworn to protect the innocent, and those people in there need your help." Serena wiped her eyes. "I don't know if I can fight that thing alone." Jason's on his way, but he won't get here in time. It's up to you to save those innocent people. Okay, Serena stood up. Moon, prism, power. Not far away, a man was sitting in his apartment. He set down ice-cold lemonade and focused on the TV. After a long day, nothing felt as good as watching the latest episode of Indirect Current. Suddenly, his entire body spasmed. His limbs thrashed out uncontrollably, knocking over his drink. A guttural cry was torn from his throat as his body began rearranging its structure against his will. A millisecond later, it was over. The man was gone, replaced by a new, more powerful man, ready for war. The new figure paused for a moment, opening the door to his balcony. His destination locked into his very being. In another part of the city, another figure dressed in black sat atop a stolen motorcycle. The bike cruised smoothly through the streets of the city, expertly weaving between obstacles to reach his destination. The rider pressed the bike faster, knowing he was needed. It had been many years since he had ridden a vehicle this powerful, but his skill came flooding back to him. Sailor Moon, the one being in the universe who may be able to fix everything, had called him in her hour of need, and he was shot through the city. He swore he wouldn't allow an innocent to die, not tonight. The monster watched the humans cipher their energy into its machine, laughing at its own success. Humans were so easily manipulated, and their antics gave it pleasure. Jedi, and maybe even Queen Barrow herself, would surely reward it handsomely. Your act is cancelled, nega creep. The monster whipped around. In the doorway stood a black-lipped figure. Who are you? The monster challenged. I am Sailor Moon, champion of justice, the figure shouted heroically. And on the behalf of Moon, I will right wrongs and triumph over evil. And that means you. With a feral roar, the monster charged. Mucus gushed from its maw like a fire hose, barely missing Serena as it crashed to the door in the hallway. Serena ducked outside, falling back and sucking in her breath. The monster burst through the door. The sonic scream blasted the monster back, sending it flying down the hall. Serena pulled her tiara off her forehead, running after it. She didn't let herself think about what was coming. Serena chased the monster into a rundown area of the building, blasting it with everything she had. The monster soared into the air, roaring in pain. Freezing vapor rushed out of its mouth. Serena dashed to the side, throwing her tiara. The weapon struck the monster in the mouth, stunning it. Sent it crashing to the opposite wall with another scream. The monster growled in anger. Gathering its strength, it picked up a desk and threw it at Serena, who panicked. Dropping a crouch, she threw her tiara. The desk disintegrated into harmless dust. The monster slammed into her, knocking her off her feet. Its claws raked across her ribcage, spilling blood. A boomerang flew out of the shadows, striking the monster's head. The monster turned, baring its fangs. Something collided with its face, sending it flying. A figure dressed in black front flipped over the monster's flying body, landing on its feet first. The figure twisted around, staff in hand, and dashed forward. Jason was completely covered in black, save for the smallest openings in his eyes. His body was encased in a tough black material that flexed and breathed with its moments, yet protected him from all the strongest of impacts. On his forearm was a pair of grapple gauntlets that ejected sharp hooks at high speed, allowing him to grapple effortlessly. In his grip, his hand-forged metal staff, flying so fast it was nearly invisible as he faced the monster. Serena summoned her tiara, ignoring the pain lancing down her side. She got to her feet and threw the weapon. The monster dodged and shot a blast of ice. Jason grappled away, throwing a pair of shurikens with his left hand. The unnatural, powerful weapon slashed the monster's face, causing it to howl in pain. Summoning the tiara, Serena screamed, forcing the monster back. The beast held its ground and fired ice. Serena dashed to one side, throwing the tiara again. The monster rushed away, firing a blast of ice in Serena's direction. A heavy metal barb embedded itself in the monster's face. Before it could react, it was pulled to the side, and Jason's staff crashed into its head, knocking it away. Enraged, the monster rushed Jason, grabbing him. Massive hands slammed him into the wall, knocking the staff from his hand. Serena grabbed a tiara and drew her arm back. Jason pulled out a combat knife. Before the monster could freeze him, he plunged into its flesh. The monster's grip faltered. Jason fired a grapple gauntlet, pulling him away just in time to avoid its ice blast. Serena threw her weapon, striking the monster. The monster roared furiously, reaching out. It tore two huge chunks from a pair of concrete pillars. The chunks flew through the air. Jason lunged away, barely avoiding being crushed. Serena jumped to the side. A piece of chunk grazed her, knocking her to the ground. Something flew through the air, slashing the monster's neck, and the monster dropped to its knees, fighting pain. I've disabled your energy collection array, Negaverse scum, a voice boomed. Your time on Earth has ended. Everyone looked up. Standing high above the battle was a tall, elegant figure dressed in a tuxedo. His head was protected by nothing but a top hat and a small white mask over his eyes. In one gloved hand was a gentleman's cane, and in the other the reddest rose you've ever seen. Tuxedo mask, Serena breathed rapturously. Instantly, the pain in her side vanished. Jason stared hard at the masked figure. Almost without realizing it, he tightened his grip on the knife and drew a special pair of shurikens. Gathering its power, the monster flew into the air. Tuxedo Mask effortlessly danced to the side, causing the monster to crash into a steel grinder. Gracefully landing on his feet, Tuxedo Mask pulled out more roses and launched them at the beast. "Isn't he amazing?" Serena said rapturously. Jason retrieved his staff and boomerang. Dashing forward, he threw the shurikens. The specialized weapons exploded, blasting chunks from the monster's body. Recovering, Serena threw her tiara. The weapon struck the vulnerable flesh underneath the monster's thick hide, causing it to scream in agony. Tuxedo Mask unleashed a flurry of razor-sharp roses slicing through the monster's body. The monster covered its face, blindly charging, hoping to overpower its enemy. Tuxedo Mask calmly stepped to the right. The monster crashed through a solid wall, landing in the employee parking lot. Jason swung through the hole, landing and rolling onto a crouch. Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon dashed through the dust behind him, weapons ready. The monster whirled to face him. Jason knew that a pair of shurikens, and then threw them. The projectiles embedded itself in its eyes, blinding. The monster screamed, unleashing its ice weapon. The heroes dodged the blast, and Jason threw an explosive in its face, knocking it back and blowing its face off. Tuxedo Mask threw a rose in the air, severing a nearby tension wire. The deadly cable fell. Tuxedo Mask extended his cane and deflected it to the monster. The heavy wire ripped through the air, lodging into the monster's wounds. Electrical current shot through its body into the ground, holding it in place. "Destroy it," Sailor Moon, Tuxedo Mask ordered. Focusing all her strength in her arm, Serena threw the tiara at the monster. The weapon struck the monster in the chest. Before their eyes, the monster disintegrated into a fine dust, leaving nothing but the hanging wire, where it stood only moments before. Silence descended. "Woohoo, we did it!" Serena shouted happily, pumping a fist. Neither Jason nor Tuxedo Mask joined her. Their thoughts were elsewhere. Their eyes shifted toward each other, meaning, with blinding speed, each warrior raised his weapon, dropped into a combat stance, ready to destroy the other. And that is where I end for day 2. Also, because this story isn't nearly as creepy as I hoped it was going to get, I'm not going to be doing the rest of this story for the next few days. I'm going to find some other things to do to celebrate the next few days of my Halloween special. So, I am going to leave the links below if anyone would like to finish up the story in their own time, because I am going to finish it. I'm reading along with you guys, so this is all new to me. I read each chapter right before I read it to you. So, please though, if you did like this video, thumbs up. If you would like more videos, all Sailor Moon based, of explanation, fan fictions, and more, please subscribe to my channel and I will be updating weekly from now on. Thank you for watching, and as I always say, in the name of the moon, you can have a great day.